With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey. This is a bunch of stuff, deal.
What does that mean, a bunch of stuff?
Well, it means it's simply inaccurate.
It's Irish.
Exactly, it is. We Irish call it malarkey.
Thanks for the translation.
No,
Okay.
We Irish call it malarkey.
You know what this is? Yeah, and I reserve this word for those rare instances when it's truly deserved. This is malarkey.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
From the King Spring Studios here in Smyrna, Georgia, this is A Bunch of Malarkey. I'm your host, Charlie McMahon. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. In case you're wondering, we're available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. I think I said iTunes already. iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and YouTube. And we have the wonderful Jen back in the studio. Thanks for joining us today, Jen.
It's good to be here.
Now, you know, you have a good friend, not only a good co-host, but a good friend who will drive on a 40-degree day in the rain all the way here to the King Spring studio just to be on the show on her day off. So thank you so much.
I'm not here just to be on the show, Charlie. You lured me with mini quiches.
The food is always an incentive. So before we get into the show, I just want to thank the gentleman over at the Bailey, Rock 100.5, Bailey and Southside show this morning. They had me on to promote my book, A Whole Lot of Shenanigans, and I really want to thank those guys over at Rock 100.5 in Atlanta. It was a really fun time this morning.
Yeah, y'all are listening to a bona fide radio star right now.
I don't know about that. Until the checks start rolling in, we really don't know about that.
You did great.
So it is Tuesday. Recap the weekend. Now, I went to a vegan festival this weekend. My wife's vegan, and the couple we went with are vegan, and it was fun. It was, not my type of food, but I went and had a good time with friends and my wife. And I ran across a sample abuser. You ever run across a guy or a person who abuses samples?
You mean just stands right next to one little table and eats everything they put down?
Well, they were giving away these. I don't even remember what kind of milk it was. It was non-dairy milk. It was some kind of I don't know. It wasn't almond or soy milk, but they were putting these bottles on the table. This guy was stuffing his bag with about 10 bottles, and then he had his son with him, telling the son to take a dozen bottles. They must have walked away with 20 bottles of this milk, and it disgusts me that people just can't take a couple of bottles of milk and walk away. Why do they have to be pigs?
I don't know. I gotta be honest. My husband does that. Not that bad. But if it was an energy drink, let's say, he'd be handing out 2 or 3 to each of us, and I'd say, I don't want this. Hold it for me. So and he also can't turn down anything free. So even if it's something he has
Really?
a million of, if it's free, they're handing it out, he has to take one.
Well, that's what I said in the preview clip yesterday. You go to these street fair festivals, any town USA, and they have food vendors and stuff, right? And then they have these little booths where a plumbing company will set up and they'll give out refrigerator magnets. Mm-hmm. And you always have one asshole that comes and takes 20 of Al's Plumbing refrigerator magnets. What are you going to do with 20 refrigerator magnets that say Al's Plumbing on them? What kind of shit are you hanging on your refrigerator?
You should come over to my house and you'll see.
Yeah, but you probably have different. Do you have 20 of the same magnet?
Well, it's easy with a kid now because we have 10 of the magnets. She loses 5, and then we have more in the drawer, so we pull them out.
Oh, I don't know. I can't see. I could see taking one, and we have certain magnets on the side of the refrigerator. I don't like the way they look on the front. That I have a local pizzeria that we call and stuff like that, but I can't have 50 of the same Al cesspool service on my refrigerator.
I don't get it either, but there it is. He went to the University of South Carolina, and their big thing at football games is they wave white towels.
Right.
So every single game, they are handing out these white towels. We have 42 million of them in our 2-bedroom condo. They're everywhere.
And you don't wash your own car, so you don't
Correct.
have any use.
But they're too small to use even as a hand towel. They're definitely not bath towels.
Right. Yeah.
Can't use it on the dog.
I'll admit.
Celine will play with them. Okay.
I'll admit, I still have a couple of those from when the Islanders were in the playoffs in 1992.
But that is a commemorative
Right.
item, and the operative word is a couple.
Yeah, I don't have. The only thing I have a lot of are used greeting cards.
Yes.
Yeah, I have my own problems.
Yes,
you
are the
who
pot.
am I to judge anybody else?
Yeah, here's the pot calling the kettle black right
So
here.
last week, we had a little issue with the house alarm. We had a police officer show up at 1:30 in the morning. The alarm, apparently there was a sensor problem, but the alarm siren didn't go off in the house. So we had a serviceman come out. And you call up these companies now, and they give you these windows of when they're going to come. And it's like the most vague window. We're going to come between noon and 6. Or they think you're supposed to just sit around all day because you can't get involved in something. Because the minute you get, ensconced in something, the guy's going to pull up, and you're going to have to show him around where everything is. So the guy says, I'll be there between 1 and 5. He comes at 5 minutes to 5.
Yeah.
And then he's there till 6:15, fiddling with everything when I want to eat dinner. And I'm an early dinner eater. If I don't eat dinner by 5, I'm like an old person for the early bird special.
I was going to say, you're starting to sound like Grandpa over there.
Well, I don't understand how people on a weeknight when they have to go to work or school can eat at 8 o'clock at night. Don't you feel like shit the next day from eating so late?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Short answer, yes.
Why do people do it?
Well, sometimes you got to.
Yeah, but if I'm working late, say I had to work till 7, I would just eat a bowl of soup when I came home. I would not eat a heavy meal if I had to be to work the next day.
Do you know, I don't think I have one can of soup in my house or a packet.
Well,
That's weird. You just mentioned that, and I just thought, I don't have anything like that. So,
well, we're going to get later to the topic of the show, which is guilty pleasures. And I'll mention one of my guilty pleasures is a soup that you might be repulsed at. But we'll talk about that in a little while. But I do keep soup in the house. Because some nights we'll eat a late lunch. But I love my in-laws. But when they come to stay, this is true. And I don't know if it's something when you get a little bit older. So if you're listening, yes, I'm judging you. If you don't eat breakfast by a certain time, if you don't eat breakfast by 9, if they eat breakfast after it's more my father-in-law than my mother-in-law. If he doesn't eat breakfast by 9, then he says no lunch. He won't eat again till dinner because he'll be full. Or if you eat lunch past 1 o'clock, as he's eating the lunch, he'll say, well, this is it for the day. We're not having dinner.
my mom is the opposite. My mom is, I have to eat by 1 o'clock or I'm going to die. And then she eats at 1:15, and then it's, I have to eat by 5 o'clock or I'm going to die. And she eats probably 100 times a day. Yeah.
So now I'm starting to get a little bit like that as I'm getting older. If we have we go out for lunch on a Saturday and it's 2:30, Jen will say, my wife, by 5 o'clock, what do you want for dinner? I'm I'm really not feeling dinner. So that's when the soup comes in, or one of those guilty pleasure items that we'll speak about later.
Yeah, that's my problem. Maybe I need to get some soup, because when I get like that, I end up eating a bunch of junk.
Yeah. No, you really should keep...
Like cheese and crackers.
Well, that's not really junk. If they're good whole wheat crackers and a good cheese, I don't think that's too bad.
Does a whole block of cheese count?
Yeah, that's probably not good. Yeah, or, always keep soup or something like that.
I got to get some soup, I think.
And
I don't think my child's ever had soup.
Come on.
I've never served it to her.
There's some good healthy low sodium soups, like Amy's makes a good one if you want to check
Those
out.
taste good, low sodium?
Yeah, they're actually pretty good.
Okay. To me, low sodium equals
normal
sodium. Like in an envelope.
Well, normal sodium is you're a step away from the high blood pressure.
Yeah,
unit
like soy
at the
sauce.
hospital.
Yeah.
So that gives a little overview of the weekend, and a little bit of service calls and my opinion on samples.
Wait! Back to the samples.
Yeah.
What was your favorite vegan food that you sampled?
I only had. They were eating a full meal, which I didn't have. I had a nice lemonade, fresh pressed lemonade, and I brought some vegan desserts home with me for later that night, like a cobbler and a coffee cake and stuff, but I didn't have any of the food.
You didn't? None of the food?
Well, because it's not like I've had some of the food. Now, here's the thing. I'll eat soy-based products and stuff that we make at home. I have no problem with. But what happened there is they had macaroni and cheese, which looked really good. Mm-hmm. But I don't eat fake cheese.
So, okay.
I'll eat the fake meat products, but I won't go near the fake cheese. A lot of it had the fake cheese in it and the nutritional yeast and stuff like that, which I'm not a fan of.
And none of your non-eating had to do with the fact that you were worried about where this food came from, or...
No, not at all, because they were reputable vendors there that have restaurants and stuff like that.
Okay.
No, it had nothing to do with that. I just wasn't in the mood for that kind of food that day, but I didn't want to be a party pooper, and I wanted to spend time with my wife and friends, so I went
Good
along.
sport you are.
Well, I wouldn't be praising me all that much, because I am a pain in the ass. She's got to pretty much pry my ass off the recliner with a crowbar on the weekends, because I don't want to deal with people usually.
With a vegan crowbar.
Yes, exactly. So now it's time for our favorite segment. Well, I think it's the listener's favorite segment. And you know what that is, folks.
mutant of the week.
Yes, indeed. It is the mutant of the week time, and I stepped away from the mic there. I'm sorry. Well, guess what, folks? We had a tie last week. 50% went to the pizza pummeler, the woman who allegedly beat her elderly friend for the last slice of pizza with her cane. And 50% for the half-naked woman who dropped in a restaurant through the ceiling tiles with no panties or pants on. So 50-50. You guys are great for voting once again. And we have a couple of great ones. But before we do the actual nominees, I just wanted to do a bonus mutant story that I had to read because we're in the crux of college football season. And this happened right here in Georgia during the UGA Kentucky game last weekend. This happened in Milledgeville, which is down by Lake Oconee. A 26-year-old woman named Tambria Palmer was arrested last Saturday on charges that included aggravated assault. The sheriff's office report says that Palmer changed the channel while her father, Darrell, was watching the UGA Kentucky game. It says the father turned off the television, blocking it from being turned back on. The report says Palmer then said she would send everyone in the house to hell, loaded a gun, and proceeded to empty the magazine as her parents scrambled for safety with their grandchildren. It's unclear if Palmer has a lawyer. Any takers?
No, but I can't believe you're shocked about this.
Over a football game?
Every year, Charlie, after the Alabama-Auburn weekend, there's at least one story about somebody getting shot, somebody getting beaten, and it's all because of something like that. TV got turned off, there was a flag in the front yard, like Auburn, Alabama, every year.
Well, I remember when it got down to like the second to last Breaking Bad, when it aired live, not when it went on Facebook. And there was a town in, I don't remember what state or city, so if you guys know, you can chime in on the comments, but the cable went out in that town.
Oh,
people
Lord.
were calling 911 because they were so panicked that they were going to miss like the series finale of Breaking Bad.
People call 911 when McDonald's runs out of nuggets, okay? Like, this should not be shocking to you.
I mean, I'm a huge Yankees fan. I like sports, but I am not going to empty out a magazine of a gun because somebody changed the channel or because I didn't want to watch something. I mean, you're going to be out of your mind.
But you're not a mutant.
Yes, that's true.
I think we've established that this world is full of mutants, and mutants like to shoot each other over silly things.
So that was a bonus story. Jen is going to read our first mutant story. Now, my wife didn't want this read on the air, but I think hearing it from a woman with Jen's sense of humor, I think it's going to be funny.
Now you're making me very nervous.
No, it's pretty funny, actually.
I'm trying to read ahead real fast, but it's not working. Okay, so here we go.
It's better impromptu.
Okay. A man who hails from Haddington in East Lothian in Scotland, and I have Scottish friends that if they're listening to this, they're going to be mad at me for butchering the pronunciation of that.
Perfect.
Was recently admitted to the Edinburgh Royal Infirmary after sustaining horrific bites from an English bull terrier. The hound had allegedly attacked the man in a vicious assault and had torn his genitals off and left him mutilated. The man was placed into an artificial coma in a desperate bid to save his life, and the canine which committed the attack was reportedly found by police investigators who arrived at the Haddington High Street property. The dog was apparently covered in blood and was apprehended by local police and placed in kennels. However, in a shocking twist, an inside source has allegedly told the British press that the dog, named Biggie Smalls...
Biggie,
yeah,
can't you see?
Rest your soul, Biggie Smalls. I'm so sorry your name's getting dragged into this. Chewed off the 22-year-old man's gonads after he smeared peanut butter
Choosy dogs choose Jeff.
over his groin in a perverted bid to have the dog sexually pleasure him by licking the nutty spread off
Nutty
his
spread.
crotch. Oh, it was nutty for more reason than one.
Right.
Police have confirmed that the man was alone with the dog at the time of the incident and that his sexual organs were eaten by the canine, making it impossible for them to be reattached. As a direct result of the gruesome savaging, the English bulldog responsible for the amputation has been put down. Now, see, that pisses me off.
Right. Why do you have to hurt the animal? Because he smelled the peanut butter.
Yeah, he smeared peanut butter.
He didn't know there was a peen attached to the peanut butter.
All over his balls. I mean...
Well, you know what I don't understand? Like, I have, like, you know, you've met my dogs. The one big dog, Cooper, even if I put a little whipped cream on the tip of my finger, he doesn't know whether to lick or bite. He gets confused because he smells the food. He's not sure whether. So why would you take a chance with the peanut butter?
I am constantly shocked, Charlie, that men are in charge of this world. I mean, seriously.
I have to agree. As a man, I'll agree with that.
I cannot imagine a woman anywhere saying, I'm going to smear Skippy all over my crotch.
No, I don't think that would happen with a woman.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. I hate to say that this guy deserved it, but he kind of deserved it, especially now that the dog is dead. I don't feel bad
that's the saddest part. That's the dickless in Scotland. Well, in the memory of Biggie Smalls, I'll say, if you don't know, now you know. Now you know the peanut butter story. So that's our mutant number one. I haven't even come up with a name for him.
Oh my
God.
Choosy
dogs choose Jeff. I don't even know what to call that. I'll come up with a name before the poll is posted. I have no idea.
Peanut butter penis?
Yeah, something like that.
Or lack thereof?
Well, our second mutant, it doesn't involve peanut butter, but it involves cookies. She was caught with her hand in the cookie jar. A North College Hill mom is accused of stealing over $1,600 worth of Girl Scout cookies from her daughter's local troop, according to police. Noelle Hines, 31, allegedly accepted a large cookie order to sell for the troop in March, but when funds were due, the Girl Scouts of Western Ohio claimed they never received a payment. Girl Scout officials and police then tried to contact Hines for over 6 months, but were never successful. That's the way the cookie crumbles, North College Hill police wrote in a Facebook post. On Tuesday, Hines was arrested for unrelated charges and charged with theft at the North College Hill Mayor's Court, police said. According to the Girl Scouts of America's cookie manual, cookies are $4 each box, making Hines responsible for around 400 boxes of cookies. The Girl Scouts of Ohio said situations regarding theft in their troop are infrequent and unfortunate. When we have evidence that an adult misuses troop funds, we pursue vigorously and, when appropriate, contact law enforcement to recover the money for the troop. This is not something we take lightly, said the company said in a statement. Hines was arraigned and is scheduled to appear in court on November 28th. How do you steal cookies from girls?
Well, you know, that I kind of understand. It's the being so dumb to steal it from your own child's troop
right.
or a
like they're not going to
troop.
find you, right?
I mean, you heard it. $4 a box.
Right, and it's always people that are arrested on unrelated charges. So they're already in trouble, but they're willing to expose themselves even further for... It's crazy, right? And then it's like the woman who bit the cop that I did a few weeks ago about not paying for the parking. She had all kinds of paraphernalia in her car and drugs and everything, and you're going to argue over a couple of dollars worth of parking while you have like a shitload of stuff in the car that could get you in more trouble.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, that's probably why they're getting caught, because they're stupid.
People are dumb. So those are our mutants, the cookie klepto and the peanut butter, whatever, the peanut butter, whatever we'll come up with a good name for the poll.
Yeah.
Now, as you
I'm
already...
just speechless. I just looked back at the story.
Oh, yeah, my wife was like, you can't put that on the show. I'm like, are you kidding? This is perfect for our show, right?
I mean, can you just imagine this guy? He's sitting there and he's like, oh, yeah, Biggie. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, like, at what point did it start getting... Because just like you said, like, I can picture Cooper, like, licking/nibbling off.
Yes.
So was this dog nibbling the testicles off? Did he take them in a chomp? Like, was there a point where this guy was, like, trying to get this dog
I'm
off
sure.
of him?
Maybe he never even licked. Maybe he just went in for the bite. He thought it was like a big peanut butter cookie or something.
Maybe it was a giant Girl Scout cookie.
Oh, no.
Maybe these stories are somehow interrelated.
But that's what it is, folks. Mutants are everywhere. You may not run into them every week, but they're out there. They are out there. Everywhere you go, you're going to run into them. And brace yourself, folks. Black Friday's coming. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of Black Friday mutant stories next week. You just can't escape it. So those are our mutant nominees. Now, as you already know, this is Jen's third time co-hosting. Woo-hoo! So she's becoming a veteran here on the show. And as I mentioned in our first show together, Jen and I know each other about 2 years. But we know each other kind of casually. Jen parked at the parking lot where I worked. That's featured in the book, A Whole Lot of Shenanigans, as I've talked to death about. And we would make small talk about the job and things like that. And we've gotten to know each other a little bit more, doing these podcasts. But the question is, in our little game show today, is how well do your fabulous co-hosts here actually know each other? So we're going to pose 10 pretty much identical questions to each other. And we are going to see who knows more. Does Jen know more about me, or do I know more about Jen? And we'll make it like a game show. So who wants to do the questioning first?
I don't know. Are we going to go back and forth with the same question?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
One at a time?
Why don't we do that? Let me pull this aside here. All right, I'll ask the first one.
Okay.
I have here on my sheet, who is Jen's favorite musical artist? Now, you'll tell me if I'm right or wrong. I wrote, and because you're from Florida, right?
That's where I grew up, yeah.
You grew up in Florida, so for that reason, I said Tom Petty.
That's a good guess, actually. He's definitely in my top 10, but not the all-time favorite.
All right, so I got the first one wrong. Now, who would your favorite be?
Prince.
Prince. I wouldn't have guessed that.
No, not at all.
No, I would have went. I take you more for like a rocker type chick.
I was born in 75 and grew up through the 80s, and pop was just, as a kid, the 80s pop. But I do like rock.
My
right.
wife said Jimmy Buffett, because you're from Florida. You're kind of a relaxed Jimmy Buffett kind of.
I do like Jimmy Buffett, but he is not even in the top 25.
All right, so I was wrong. So now how about first question for me?
Who is your, I'm going to ask, who is Charlie's favorite musical artist? And I'm pretty confident in that I know the answer.
And what is that?
Bruce Springsteen.
Yay! You are correct. All right, so Jen is 1 for 1, and I am 0 for 1. All right, so
it all goes downhill from here, folks.
Yeah, I think she has an advantage because in this King Spring studio, I have some Bruce Springsteen canvas and pictures up, and Billy Joel and John Lennon. So I knew she'd pick one of the three.
It was one of those three.
Yeah.
You even dedicated the front of your book, keep the faith. And I was like, okay, is it Joel or who is it?
All right, this was a tough one. We've never been out to lunch, or the only thing we've eaten together is at the party and the quiches.
I mean, I know you don't like fake cheese.
Right. So what is Jen's favorite meal? Now, to me, you're a steak and meat and potatoes kind of woman. I said a steak and a baked potato. Am I right?
No, you are not.
And I am batting 0. What is your favorite meal?
Well, just generally Mexican food. Cheese dip.
Well, Jen, my wife said macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, I think that's up there.
Because my wife wanted in on these questions because she said that I'm like oblivious to things. I don't pay attention. All right, so what do you think my favorite meal is?
I had to go with, I had no clue either, but coming from the Italian family, I guessed baked ziti.
You had the right nationality, but that would be pizza.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my favorite food. I eat it every day.
Do you have a place that you like the best?
Around here?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of places that are pretty similar to home.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But nothing...
No, New York pizza kind of stands by itself.
What's your favorite place in New York?
Oh, that's tough. There was a place that I went to growing up called Martino's Pizza in West Islip, where I grew up. I still crave that pizza. I don't even know if they're in business anymore, but I still crave that pizza.
And what is it, thin crust, thick crust? What is it?
They made a Neapolitan thin crust. It's everything. Good pizza is not only the crust but the sauce. It's got to be a good sauce. And they made a Sicilian pizza, which was great. It's a square pizza, not as deep as a Chicago deep dish, but like a fluffier crust. Yeah, I still dream about that pizza.
You should have brought the quiches up here.
I told you to bring them.
Now I want pizza.
All right, so we both got our meals out of the way. So now the third question is, how long has Jen lived in Georgia? Now, you had told me you're married 5 years, so I kind of doubled that. I'm going to say you have been in Georgia for 10 years.
Wait, I got to do the math. No. Mm-mm.
Really? Man, I am 0 for 3, folks. How long have you been in Georgia?
12.
12, okay.
Let's see, I graduated... No, 13.
All right, so I wasn't off by that much.
No, not far.
All right, so what about me?
Somewhere between 5 and 6 years.
Is that what you wrote?
Yeah. I was so sure.
We just had our 7th anniversary in Georgia this past summer.
Okay.
All right. What is Jen's favorite color?
You're never going to get this one.
I was going to go with a magenta or a fuchsia. My wife said gold. I said no way. I put blue.
No, that's what I put for you.
Okay.
Are we both wrong? You're wrong.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Man, I am old. Who the hell are you, Jen? I don't know you.
I'm Batman.
You guessed blue for me also?
Yes, I did. Really? You know, you're wearing something blue every time I see you.
Yeah, I wear a lot of blue because I like the way the color looks on me, but green, like an olive green is my favorite color.
Okay.
All right. What is Jen's favorite vacation spot? I said Hawaii.
I think you're right. I'm going to give you a credit. Yes.
All right. I got one.
Yes.
And where's my favorite spot?
First of all, I'm shocked that you go on vacation. You're such a hardworking guy. But based on previous conversations, I wrote Montauk, but not the beach.
Well, that was our only vacation place growing up. As I said in previous episodes, we didn't do family vacations. My parents would take 2 weeks off in the summer, and we would clean out the shed in the backyard, paint, and then we would take 1 day trip out to that lighthouse, drive around, have a fish sandwich, and head home.
Yeah.
That was our vacation.
That's why I picked Montauk.
So Montauk and
What is it?
Aruba.
I've never been there.
We went for a honeymoon, and we went again the year after, and I hope our 10-year anniversary is next year, so I hope we head back.
What years were those? Your honeymoon and the year after?
2009, 2010. So our 10-year anniversary is coming up next year.
I'm going to need to call my mother to find out if we should be connecting you to the Natalie Holloway disappearance.
No, I think she disappeared after I was... Was it before or after?
That's what they all say.
That's a shame. All right, folks, what is Jen's favorite ice cream flavor? Now, there's so many obscure ice cream flavors out there. I'm going to go with strawberry.
Wrong.
Wow, that horn really getting a workout today. What is it?
You know, I just love ice cream, but I would have to say specifically Haagen-Dazs made a flavor. I don't even know if they do
obscure,
anymore.
folks.
Yeah, it's Mayan chocolate, and basically it's chocolate with with cinnamon in it.
I would have never guessed that in a million years.
I love it.
All right, so I had no shot at that.
No,
Zero.
none whatsoever.
All right, what's my favorite ice cream flavor?
I totally have no clue, so I went with something weird, rum raisin.
Mint chocolate chip.
Well, that goes with the Kelly Green thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, not all mint chocolate chip is green. The
Well, if it's the good fake stuff, it is.
Yeah, the Breyers is actually white.
Yeah, I know, because they're all like, look, we don't use artificial colors.
So Jen and I looking at each other like, who the hell are you? We don't know each other. We've known each other over 2 years, done a few shows together. We have no clue of anything about each other.
We don't talk about. We talk about
other
current
stuff,
events and mutants.
And
we don't
peanut
talk
butter
about
on
ourselves.
genitals.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
like what all good friends talk about.
All right, this I went on my wife said Turks and Caicos for your vacation spot, and she said chocolate for your ice cream.
Well, there you go. She was right about the ice cream. I mean,
yeah,
chocolate.
in a way, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, what is Jen's favorite TV show of all time? Now, I was torn. My initial gut was to go with Seinfeld, but I went with the Gilmore Girls.
I don't think I've seen one episode of the Gilmore Girls.
Man, I am 1 for 7.
Friends.
That's what my wife said.
Yep.
She said it's going to be Friends.
Because I think Friends was the first time that I was living on my own, and it was the first time I had control over my own TV and
set.
I could watch. I mean, I also loved 90210, but it wasn't guaranteed that I was going to get to watch that.
Now, are you old enough to have been the remote yourself?
Yes.
Before television.
Yes. And then it backfired on my parents, because if I flipped the channel and it was something I was very interested in, I'd end up standing there in front of the TV and watching, and my mom and dad would have to go, "Hey!"
I mean, we
we
were allowed to watch the shows that we liked, like Family Ties and the sitcoms, but on certain days, my dad was in charge of that TV.
Oh, yeah.
And 60 Minutes was a staple every Sunday night, and that clock still gives me anxiety, that ticking stopwatch, because it reminded me of getting ready for school the next day. But I was so versed in current events from 60 Minutes. I was like in first grade going into shame what's happening in Beirut, everybody. Because every Sunday night, I'm morally safer. I'm,
Yeah, so you should thank. Yeah, that's
yeah, and
something to be
Andy Rooney at
thankful
the
for.
end. I mean, I was well versed in 60 Minutes.
My Sunday night show is Muppets, the Muppet Show.
Weren't they on Monday nights?
Maybe I thought it was Sunday.
7:30 on Mondays.
I seem to remember it was either the Muppets or it was like didn't Disney used to have like
They
a
had a
1
Sunday
hour
night,
show?
yes.
That's what it was then. Disney on Sundays and Muppets on
No,
Mondays.
we were tortured. After 60 Minutes, my dad watched Murder, She Wrote. Now you're 7 years old trying to get into an Angela Lansbury mystery. Just didn't cut it.
I had a hard time coming up with one for you.
For the next one? Oh,
Well,
for the TV show.
favorite TV show.
Oh, yeah. What is it? What did you say?
Well, you've talked about. I can't narrow it down to just one. I thought maybe Good Times.
Good Times? I mean, it's a show I watch, but Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David on HBO.
I guess I was thinking of when you were a kid.
Nah. I mean, we watch Good Times, but the father on that show scared the shit out of me. He seemed like a mean
He
guy.
was very scary. We don't have HBO or any of that, so I haven't watched very many Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, I have the DVD set I'll lend to you.
I think Jeff has the first.
Do you have Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Do you watch their video service?
Yeah.
They're all on there.
Oh,
First
they
8
are?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so this one I think I got. Right now I'm 1 for 7, and what are you?
I think I'm 2.
All right, so you're 2 for 7.
Oh, wait, maybe not. No, I'm not. I'm just 1 for 7,
Okay.
too.
What is Jen's favorite booze? I said wine.
That is correct.
Yeah, because I know you're always talking about wine. When you go to your friend's house, you have to bring 2 bottles.
Mm-hmm.
See, I listen. Mm-hmm. My wife says I don't listen, but I listen.
In that instance, you listened.
What's my favorite booze?
I have no idea.
Now, I'm not a big drinker anymore.
I
but
know. That's why I don't.
But when I do drink, what do I have?
I don't want to be like whiskey. Yeah, I knew that was like white guy stereotyping, but I don't know.
Vodka.
Really?
I like a good vodka.
Like a straight? You drink it straight?
No, I mix it with something.
Like what?
Mostly orange juice.
Oh, so you're a screwdriver kind of guy. Okay.
I had a friend who said that her father was in the army in some wacky Midwestern town, and he was in full uniform, and he went into a bar, and he said to the bartender, "I'll have a screwdriver." And the bartender said, "Huh?" He goes, "I'll have a screwdriver." He goes, "A screwdriver?" He goes, "Yeah, get me a screwdriver." Guy went in the back and got him a screwdriver, a literal tool.
You're making that up.
That he swore that happened in, like, Nebraska. That the guy didn't know, like, vodka and orange juice was a screwdriver.
Oh, my God. That guy would not survive today with the millennials. What's your favorite kind of vodka?
I like the Grey Goose or the Belvedere or I don't drink like the ones that are like Smirnoff and like the lower end ones give me like bad hangover. So I like the good ones.
Vodka is actually my favorite spirit if I'm going to drink a mixed drink, and I like Tito's.
Okay. I don't think I've ever had Tito's.
Now we know what I'm bringing with me
and
next time.
I hate to say it. I don't want to get political on the show, so don't get crazy. But Trump's vodka, even though he went out of business, the guy's an asshole. His vodka wasn't bad a few years ago when it was out, like 12, 15 years ago.
I didn't even know he had vodka.
Yeah, he had a vodka, and it wasn't that bad.
No?
But, it's probably the only nice thing I'll probably ever say. So let's move on.
Maybe he should be handing that out to
Yeah,
people
exactly.
now.
Okay, what is Jen... This ninth question is a little bit different. So what is Jen's favorite sport? College football.
Yeah, right. Yay!
Wow, I've got 2 in a row, and now I'm 3 for 9. So I'm batting .333, which means I would be an all-star in baseball.
How did you do that math that fast?
1/3.
Oh.
Does Jen know math?
No.
I played the horn.
Not at all.
All right, so how was the question phrased for me?
What sport was Charlie an avid participant in until a couple of years ago?
Before I became a fat fuck.
Baseball. No?
I was a very avid runner. I was running like between 40 and 60 miles a week up until a couple of years ago.
I ran in high school. We have a lot in common, yeah.
See, we do.
Yeah. Why did you stop running?
Because I started that job at the parking lot, and I would come home exhausted every day, and then I just let it go, and now I'm at a point where I can't even get to the mailbox without heart palpitations.
I hate it now. I hate
No,
running.
I would get back into it.
You would?
Yeah, I'm hoping next year.
Did you run like races or anything?
Yeah, I did like 5 and 10 Ks. I've done half marathons, and I used to run up here at the Silver Comet Trail. I would do 10, 12 miles in a day.
I like riding my bike on the Silver
Yeah, it's
Comet
nice,
Trail,
right?
Yeah.
And then, funny story, I was running that trail, 10 miles without breaking a sweat. My friend Johnny B., who's been on the show, he said, I got a couple of bikes. Let's go for a bike ride. This was over the summer. I couldn't even bike 4 miles. I had to pull over. I'm like, John, I'm dying.
Yeah. Totally different thing. That's like I said, I ran cross country in high school, and then I went out for soccer one year. I couldn't even make it once around the field dribbling that soccer ball.
Well, the stopping and going is a lot different than just running,
Yeah.
All right, so I have 3 for 9, and you have 2 for 9. So there's a chance you could still tie if you get this right and I get it wrong.
Do I have 2? I think you're giving me one.
Oh, then I automatically win, but we'll do the last one anyway.
Oh, aren't you kind?
Okay. What did Jen, as a child, want to be when she grew up? I went with the standard, and I know it's kind of stereotypical. I went with the standard veterinarian.
Incorrect.
What is it? What is it that you wanted to be?
I wanted to be the first female fighter pilot.
Well, I would have never guessed that.
No.
But I think you could have been.
I think I still could be.
I think you still could.
Exactly.
Yeah, too bad I can't cue up Top Gun.
Yeah.
All right, so I went 3 for 9, which I don't think is that bad based on these questions.
No, I think you did. You ended up better than me.
And what did I want to be when I grew up?
A parking lot manager.
Yeah. My dream came true this year.
A baseball player.
I wanted to be similar to what we're doing right here. I wanted to be on the radio. But specifically, I know you're going to laugh and probably die laughing and roll off the chair. I wanted to be on a love song station at night where I played like those, you're listening to 106.7 Light FM. Jennifer's calling in now. And people would call in with their love and relationship problems.
So
and
you
I would
wanted to be the male Delilah?
Yeah, I wanted to be smooth like that.
I think you're on the right track.
And
you
that,
sounded pretty smooth this morning.
That was Player with Baby Come Back. It's 62 degrees here in Central Park.
That's exactly what you sounded like this morning on Southside.
Yeah,
and Bailey.
Southside and Bailey and Southside.
Bailey and Southside, sorry.
So Jen went 1 for 9. I went 3 for 9. So
Wow,
we have
you win.
Charlie
Woohoo!
McMahon is the winner.
I'm going to bring you a bottle of Tito's as a gift,
Tito's.
as a prize.
So now that our game show is over, we're going to get to our main topic of the day, which is guilty pleasures. Now, you're probably wondering, what is a guilty pleasure? Now, if I sit and eat a bag of potato chips tonight, it's a pleasure, but it's not really a guilty pleasure, because if I told you I did that or told society, they're not going to really judge me. Everybody likes potato chips. Basically, a guilty pleasure is something you enjoy doing despite feeling guilty or that it's not going to be held in high regard with other people. Like, you'll be made fun of or criticized. So let's go over a few topics. Let's do our guilty pleasure TV. Now, it doesn't have to be something that's currently on TV. Something that you maybe watch reruns, or if you flip it through the channels, you're going to stop on no matter what. Now, I have a bunch of these.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm kind of ashamed. But I'll let you go first.
They're really that bad? I can't imagine.
One
that
is a
they're
current
that bad.
show that I get criticized for by my wife. She looks in disgust.
Every time you put it on?
But I don't put it on the TV. I watch it on the Kindle, so she doesn't have to deal with it. But when she hears it, she's disgusted by me.
You know, I have so many of these, but the one that gets me every time is Mean Girls.
Okay, it's not
Lindsay Lohan. Like,
right.
I have to.
And that was a TV show?
Well, it's a movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you want a TV show, like an actual TV show?
Yeah, we have another category for movies.
Well, Friends. I mean,
yeah,
I'm watching it over on Netflix.
I don't think many people will judge you for that. I think Friends. You think people would judge you for Friends?
I don't think I have a bad. I'm really cool when it comes to TV, Charlie. Nobody's going to judge me for my TV choices.
I'm very bad.
I don't watch Hoarders. Maybe would people?
Yeah,
judge me for
that's
Hoarders?
a guilty pleasure.
Okay, I watch Hoarders.
I watch. And now I teased one of my friends who listens. He told me a few weeks ago, and very proudly, he's a 42-year-old man, that he watches Say Yes to the Dress. And he's a straight man and married, and he just likes the hijinks that goes with Say Yes to the Dress. And I judged him, and my wife turned to me, because we were all out, and said, "You have the nerve to judge him when you watch Teen Mom 2?
Oh my God, Charlie, we can't even be friends anymore.
No, I'll tell you why I like Teen Mom 2.
Wait. There was a Teen Mom 1?
Yeah, but I didn't watch that one. Teen Mom 2, the drama that goes on. And now these girls are well past like being teens. They're in their early 20s. They've already had other kids, but they follow these 4 girls but the drama and the infighting between them and the drama that goes on in their lives. I don't watch it every week when it airs, but I'll binge watch them online. I haven't watched it in a while, but if I come across it, I'll watch 6 episodes in one sitting.
That is truly shameful.
It is shameful, but I'm admitting I'm coming clean here on
first
a bunch
step.
of malarkey.
It's the first step to healing.
I also watch, and I can't resist it, not the new one, the old 90210 reruns. I will stop if it's on the TV, if I'm flipping through, and I'll be glued to 90210 marathons.
Where do you see that? I would love that.
On, what channel is that? Soap channel? They have all the
There's
the
a
reruns.
soap channel?
Yeah, it's been around for years.
Yeah, see, I don't
Oh, come on. Brandon, Kelly, David,
Yeah,
Donna.
like you shouldn't be ashamed of that. I would
Well,
love to find that
as
marathon.
a 47-year-old man, I'm kind of ashamed.
But no,
I
that's
still
our
watch it.
that was on when we
But
were
I
in high
should be
school.
over it by now, right?
How could you ever be
I
over
can't get over
Dylan?
Dylan.
That smoldering gaze, that voice.
And Melrose Place, too. If I pass Melrose, the old Melroses, I'll watch that, too.
Yeah, that one was freaky.
Yeah, they all lived in the same.
Everybody humped each other and then killed each other or tried to kill
Right.
each other.
Now, I haven't watched General Hospital in 30 years, I would say. But I grew up every day coming home from school, and it was on the TV every single day when I came home from school. And I got into the storylines in the 80s. Some guy put up every episode of General Hospital from 1980 to 1984. And that was like in the wheelhouse when I was watching it. I'll binge watch those on YouTube sometimes. I'll just go back to the 80s and watch all General Hospitals from the 80s. And my wife will get into it a little bit, and she'll be like, what are we doing? We're watching General Hospital from July 4th, 1983.
My husband and I, we do that with Wonder Years.
I love the one. It's on
Yeah,
my list. But
yeah.
I love the
I'm
Wonder
not
Years.
embarrassed of that.
No,
It was a
I think
great
it was
show.
a quality show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder Years was good.
Yeah.
And I was forgetting. I'm saying I don't watch a ton of TV, but I guess I have stuff on in the background. Like if I'm home during the day, I don't have the TV on until 3 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock, I put on Dr. Phil.
You should be embarrassed of
I
that.
don't necessarily sit and watch it, but I have them on in the background.
Whatever, Charlie.
And my wife will come in if she's working from home and say, what are you watching? She'll all these stories. But I think he helps people.
Okay.
He does.
Who did he help yesterday, Charlie?
There was a girl who was dating a guy who was abusing her, and he had the parents on and the girl. But I didn't watch the ending.
You hear this, folks? He didn't pay attention. What color shirt was the girl wearing?
I don't even remember.
Oh, okay.
I know she had blonde hair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I kind of have it on, but I'll be on texting on my phone and browsing, so I'll have it on in the background.
Okay.
And sometimes I will put on Cheaters.
I've watched that a couple of times. Yeah, that's
Come on, Joey
embarrassing.
Greco. Everybody loves Joey
He's
Greco.
not on there anymore,
No.
though, is he? Because I did turn it on the other day.
Clark Gable's grandson, the actor, Clark Gable, that's his grandson. That
No
runs it now.
way.
It's like Clark Gable the Third or something.
Now, see, I watched that because one of my guilty pleasures is staying home all day and not doing any work.
So you were
Saying
home.
I'm going to work from home
So
and
you
then
had
laying
the
on my couch.
You had Channel 36, the ATL going. At 3
yeah,
o'clock.
exactly.
And I would say the only other thing would be, and they're not really TV shows. Have you ever heard of World Star Hip Hop?
No.
It's a website where people, if there's a fight in public, and I mentioned it on a previous episode, if there's any type of altercation in public, people will film the fight and they will chant the word World Star, and it infuriates people to fight. And then they put these videos up on this website, and then they all end up on YouTube. So I'll sit and watch 3 hours straight of people fighting at Burger King in the streets, and people. And Jen will come in, and there's people, like, rolling around on the McDonald's floor. And I'm watching this going, go! I'm rooting for, like, one side over the other. So I'll be watching random fight videos.
My favorite is when they take the news clips or whatever, and then they put them to the auto tune.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
That's my favorite
Yeah,
ones.
see, there you go. And then sometimes I'll just watch, like, horrible car crashes caught on dash cams.
What?
Yeah, I'll just...
That's so morbid.
No, nobody's dying in it. They get up and walk away. They're not, like, fatal because people had the footage and they submitted the footage.
Oh, Charlie.
It passes time. What can I say? All right, so guilty pleasure movies now. Now, there's a couple on here I'm really embarrassed about. What about you? You said already Mean Girls.
Yeah, Mean Girls. There's so many of them.
Like you're on a Sunday afternoon, you got a bag of chips, crumbs all over yourself. What are you flipping if you see on your sticking
There's
with?
so many of them. Tombstone.
Tombstone.
I'll never flip past Tombstone.
Shawshank Redemption I'll never flip past, but I'm not ashamed of that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
How about Lifetime? Do you watch Lifetime
No,
movies?
I do not. Mm-mm. Not at all.
My biggest guilty pleasure movie, and I can't turn away from it. If it's on, I'm watching it. Ghost.
That one I will land on.
I actually get emotional in that movie when that song,
it's a
The
very
Righteous Brothers.
touching
Yes,
movie.
Yeah, I think they did a great job.
I
with it.
think so too. That's so funny because just the other day I was going to tease somebody with a quote from Patrick Swayze going, what does he say at the end? It's the love you feel.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
so amazing, Molly. It's the love inside.
That's when he finally leaves and goes back into the light. Yeah. And another one, I can't, if it's on Netflix, I'll watch it 3 times in a week. Fatal Attraction with Glenn Close and Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't. That's got too much violence.
What, with the rabbit boiling up on the stove and stuff?
Yeah, that's too scary.
I
for
like
me.
Fatal Attraction.
I watch junk. It's all, teeny bopper movies.
And I like any John Candy movie. The Great Outdoors, Summer Rental,
Yeah.
Uncle Buck. I love all of his movies.
Last night I put on Son-in-Law.
Yes.
Like any of those ridiculous ones.
All right, you don't watch Biodome, do you, with Pauly Shore?
No, that's a really bad one.
That is a bad one.
That is a really bad one.
And my Christmas, well, I watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation
my gosh, yeah,
50 times in the
yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
season.
yeah.
But my guilty pleasure Christmas movie is Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen and the woman from Halloween.
Yeah,
What's that woman's
Jamie
name?
Lee Curtis.
I watched that like 6-7 times during the holiday season. Too.
Yeah,
It's
I
not a
don't
good
think I've
one,
ever
but
seen
I like it.
Well, mine's A Christmas Story.
Yeah,
The
that's
one with
we watch on
Ralphie.
Yeah, of course.
I watched that one.
They have the marathon.
And then, my all-time Christmas favorite movie is Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
I love that. Love Emmett Otter.
Oh, high five! I own it. Jeff. I knew Jeff loved me one year when he got me for Christmas a handmade Emmett Otter.
No,
doll.
you don't.
Yeah, it's sitting right up next to
That
my
was
TV
one of the
in the living
staples.
room.
That was one of the staples growing up. Watching that.
They
it used
have
to be on TV.
They have Emmett and Ma Otter down at the Center for Puppetry Arts, the actual Jim
Really?
Henson puppets.
I'm gonna have to. Have you ever seen Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey?
No.
See, only a few of my friends from high school when I mention it. There's it was more about it was a cartoon animated thing about basically Nestor was a long-eared donkey that everybody made fun of, but he was supposedly the donkey that took Mary and Joseph to when she was pregnant with Jesus. But
Those stories always get me.
But Emmett Otter, I haven't heard that in years.
That was,
great.
I own I don't even have the Blu-ray. It's a DVD.
Did you introduce your daughter to Emmett Otter yet?
Of course. She loves her some Emmett Otter. And now, now it's on Netflix with a new, it's got an added Kermit the Frog. He's in the beginning and at the end where he wasn't in the original.
I think I have Emmett Otter on one of my, I have these, I'm crazy for Christmas, anything Christmas. I have all these DVDs, and I think I have a compilation of all those type things. I think Emmett Otter's on one of them.
Yeah, we watch Emmett Otter in June in our house. I love it.
All right, so I'm a music fan, and you're a big music fan.
Yes, I am.
What are your guilty pleasure songs or bands?
I'm afraid you're going to throw something
No,
at
because
me.
mine probably have you beaten.
Nickelback.
Okay. They're the most ridiculed band
I
on the
listen
internet.
to them when my husband's not around, and I sing at
He's
the
not a
top
fan?
of my lungs.
Which Nickelback song would you say is your go-to Nickelback?
Probably This Is How You Remind Me.
Really?
Yeah. I sing that one at the top of my lungs.
All right. My number one, I don't care where I am. I don't care who judges. I don't care who's in the car next to me and can hear me. Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera. I lose it when Genie in a Bottle comes on.
I have a playlist that I call Sing.
Right.
And because it's all the songs I like to belt out at the top of my lungs. And the one by Aguilera, the You're Beautiful.
Right.
That one's on my list.
See, that one's too, melancholy fun. But you got to rub me the right way. I'm a genie in a bottle.
Why don't you sing it right now?
I'm a genie in a bottle. Got to rub me the right way.
You sound just like her.
Yeah,
Just
I don't
like
care.
her.
I've had people in the car next to me. I have my windows down, just laugh. I don't care. Judge me, put me on YouTube. I don't care. I love
yeah.
Genie in a Bottle.
That's a good one.
And another one, I had my wife laughing a few months ago. Fernando by ABBA.
That's a fun one to
Well,
sing
there was
to.
something in the air that night. The stars
Yeah.
were bright. Fernando.
Yeah, that's
Come
a
on.
good one.
I wish I could play music on this damn podcast. Damn licenses.
What, would you get in a lot of trouble? I don't know
I
anything about that
probably
section
not,
of
but
the
I
law.
don't want to take
You
any
don't want
chances.
to.
All right, so what are some other yours? Because I've got a few here.
But see, that's the hard thing. I don't feel guilty about. Nickelback is literally the only one that I listen to in shame.
See, I think women don't feel as guilty because, if you sing a male's role, for instance, and I know I'm stereotyping, but nobody's going to judge you. If I'm singing Genie in a Bottle and Fernando, people are going to go, there's a little something off about that guy.
Yeah,
He's a little
probably.
feminine or,
Probably.
but I don't care.
I mean, I think the thing that I get most embarrassed about is I will be walking around out in public and suddenly you'll hear me singing, "Hey, look over here, the Cat in the Hat is about to appear."
The children's
yeah,
songs.
like all these show, from what she wants to always listen to Kids Bop. So I'll find myself like the one that I'm most obsessed with now because hearing it on Kids Bop, I actually learn the lyrics and it's we out here dripping in finesse.
Dripping in finesse.
It don't make much sense. I thought he was saying we are tripping over this.
But they're saying
dripping in finesse.
Finesse is like a shampoo from the 80s, isn't it?
Correct.
Are they dripping in that finesse?
No, I think he means he's like real smooth. So
Okay,
that's what I'm embarrassed about. I sing her favorite songs just out of the blue.
Another one for me would be Debbie Gibson, Foolish Beat. And that's one of her slow ones, but I will belt that out. If it comes on an 80s station, I don't care who's around.
I would pay money to pull up next to you at a stoplight with you belting out Debbie Gibson at the top of your lungs.
Shake your love.
Oh my God, I can just see you with your hands on the steering wheel and your head thrown back. And
the hands aren't on the steering wheel. They're doing all motions, and I'm getting into it. And Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, you can't, I don't care who you are, you could be a heavy metal rocker. You hear Hit Me Baby One More Time, it's catchy.
Yeah, it
You're
really
singing
is.
it for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, that's like my car dance song where if you pull up next to me, you will see me dancing my brains out. Is Peter Piper by Run DMC.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong with
I
that
can't,
one.
I mean, I just...
It's Tricky is my...
that's a good one, too.
Is my Run DMC song.
Speaking of Christmas, one of my favorite songs, it's Christmas
time in
Hollis,
Queens.
Mom's cooking chicken and
Collard
collard
greens.
greens. Yep.
I think we're going to have a whole Christmas song special right before the last.
I'm going to also need you to make me a playlist for that too. Your Halloween playlist was
Yeah,
I left that day and went to the office and listened. I had a great time.
Jen said to me, my wife said to me after you left, you didn't make it a CD. I go, what do you think? It takes 5 minutes? She was going to, I got to put the playlist together. I said, I'll make it a CD. So we'll get you a Christmas and a Halloween. And to round out my guilty pleasure songs, Please Don't Go Girl by New Kids on the Block.
That's a good one.
There's something about that
Can you
one.
hit the falsetto?
No, I'm not even going to try. And my album, and it's got a fitting title. I know you're probably really going to laugh. Barbra Streisand put out an album in 1981 called Guilty, and it was songs with the lead singer from the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb. Mm-hmm. And there are 3 good songs on that album, and I actually own it on vinyl. So Guilty. Check it out, folks. Guilty by Barbra Streisand. It's pretty good.
Right now mine is the Star is Born. Speaking
not
of Barbra
bad.
Streisand, but the new one. I mean, I sing that thing. I sing Bradley Cooper's parts. I sing Lady Gaga's parts. I
Nothing
sing
wrong.
the whole thing beginning to end. So you'll see me on the highway spelt out.
And I do have Barry Manilow and Neil Diamond on vinyl.
I love Neil Diamond.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Neil Diamond. What's your favorite Neil Diamond song?
Well, Sweet Caroline, but also You're Coming to America.
Oh, that's a good one. Love on the Rocks.
That's a good one,
I like
too.
in September
and
Morning.
Turn on your heart light.
Yeah, it's a little overdone with E.T., I think.
Well, that's what, I loved. E.T. was one of not the first movie I saw in the movie theater, but pretty close.
E.T. was my first movie.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was. In the actual indoor theater. The first movie I ever saw was in a drive-in, and that was Jaws. But the first indoor was E.T.
That must have scared the shit out of you, seeing Jaws in the dark like that outside on that big screen.
We were just eating candy bars. My mother loaded the trunk up with a cooler of all kinds of shit. We weren't fazed by it. Yeah, it did scare me a little bit, but...
My first movie ever was Empire Strikes Back.
Was it? Mm-hmm. I remember...
I'm an avid fan to this day. That's another one. I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure, but if there's a Star Wars movie on, I'm watching it.
Want to know something?
What?
I have never seen any Star Wars movie even one time. Truth.
Do you know that my husband said that to me several years ago, and guess how he spent his Saturday? Sounds like I'm coming over this weekend with a bottle of vodka and all of my Star Wars Blu-rays.
Well, I'm the same way when people say they've never seen like the mob movies, like The Godfather and Goodfellas, and you've
there
never
we go.
seen.
We're off. There we
You've
go.
never seen Goodfellas?
Oh no! I've seen Goodfellas.
Yeah, and The Bronx Tale,
No.
Casino, Heat,
Casino, yes. Heat, no.
Donnie Brasco.
Yes.
All right, so you've
But
seen
I've
some.
seen none of the Godfathers.
Oh my God! See that's
See?
I can understand when you say about the Star Wars. You've never seen.
Saturday Star Wars, Sunday Godfathers.
Yeah, drunk on vodka.
My husband took me to see Solo for my birthday this year, and I was so excited that I got so drunk, and they almost threw me out of the theater because I kept going, the Millennium Falcon!
You know you did.
Yes, I did. Jeff's like, can you please calm down? I'm like, I'm so excited.
You know what we used to do in the movie theater as kids? Remember when they would give you the actual bucket of popcorn,
Yes.
not the bag?
Mm-hmm.
Me and my friends would go to the movies, and we would eat the popcorn, and then we would go in the lobby and fill that with water from the water fountain. We would go back to our seat, and then we would put the bucket down on the floor in front of us, and then pour the water out. And people would be, you know how the theater is sloped?
Yes.
And there's only carpeting in the aisle, so
Yes,
there's like
so they
concrete.
would hear, mm-hmm.
So people would be like looking, where's all the water come from? Their feet would get all soaked, and it was us dumping the water down the
I'm
lane.
sure those people thought you were pissing on the floor.
They didn't even know it was us. They thought there was like a leak in the pipe or something. Everybody would get up.
I would have been like, who is pissing on the floor back there?
All right. So how about, we mentioned, what are your guilty pleasure foods? Like stuff that you think people would judge you for eating?
It's just like cheese. Like I can eat cheese dip with
Like,
a spoon.
what about the spray cheese? Would you eat that?
So I would.
All right.
Yeah.
Mine is Lipton soup. We mentioned soup. It comes the dry soup
Yeah,
that you
I
add
like
the water,
it. Yeah.
and then I add a shitload of extra noodles to it. And it's almost like eating a bowl of noodles rather. There's hardly any broth because I load it up with so many.
So you're
extra
like a
noodles.
ramen guy, right? You like this new ramen
I don't really
trend?
like the ramens.
No?
No. I like Lipton soup, and not a lot of people eat dry soup anymore.
No, that as a matter of fact, if I ever have that in my house, it's because I'm going to make French onion dip.
Yeah,
I'll
the French
eat it
with
as the soup.
You
Yeah.
add it with the sour cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. I don't think you should be embarrassed by Lipton soup.
Because I'm always the only guy buying it. Like I buy like 4 boxes, and I could see the space on the shelf. And when I go back like a month later, it's the same.
space
4
is still
boxes.
there?
It's still there. I'm the only guy buying Lipton soup.
I like frozen corn dogs.
I've
that
never
a
had a
guilty
corn dog
pleasure?
in my life.
Star Wars and corn dogs. We're adding to this list, people.
I'm going to be dipping the corn dog in
We're
the
gonna have
vodka.
to videotape this as Charlie and Jen experience a bunch of firsts.
And here's another odd meal. I had it for lunch yesterday. I buy egg noodles, and I just boil them up, and I put some butter on them.
Oh, well, I like rice like that. Plain white rice with butter and salt.
Okay. Yeah, rice is good. No, like, vegetable in it?
Nope.
Okay. This is a kid's meal that we had a lot as kids growing up. Like in the winter, my mom would make for lunch English muffin pizzas.
Oh, I haven't had one of those in a long time.
You put the pizza sauce and the mozzarella, and then you pop them in the oven. There's something good about English muffin pizzas.
And that's making me think of Tostino's pizza rolls, which are also one of my favorites.
See, I had those in the freezer, and I said to my wife, instead of making the quiches today, I'm going to make Totino's pizza rolls for us. And she said that those were kind of like ghetto, and like a 12-year-old boy eats them after school. Jen wouldn't like them.
Hello, I'm your ghetto 12-year-old boy that will gladly eat your Tostino
Yeah, because I said,
rolls.
I don't think we need quiches. I said, I have the pizza rolls, and it's going to be in the afternoon. She goes, no, you feed that to a 12-year-old boy. So.
That's probably what my guilty food is. I like junky, savory snacks.
Like finger foods, like mozzarella sticks.
Yes,
I love
like
all
bagel
that, too.
bites. Like, that's what I like
Are you
to
a
eat.
Costco member?
No, I am not. For that very reason, because
Okay.
they sell giant containers
Next
of those
week,
things.
they have the giant boxes of bagel bites. Buy one, get one free.
Oh,
my ass is
goodness.
going to be online when the store opens.
I'll pay you back if you get me.
Well, you can have the free one.
Well, I
I'll buy-
figured you'd keep 2, and then you get 2 for me.
I get yelled at because there's not enough room in the freezer from all
what
this shit.
else? I don't know if you've had the frozen White Castle burgers.
Yes. Well, back in New York, I haven't had them in a long time.
Oh, my God. You can get them at Publix here.
Yeah, I don't think I haven't had beef in years. I don't think I want to go back down that. I don't really eat beef anymore.
Wait. Did you hear me? I said frozen
Yeah,
White
White
Castle
Castle.
burgers.
That's not
I don't
beef.
think I mentioned anything about beef.
Yeah, I don't know what
I'm
kind
pretty
of
sure it's vegan.
Yeah. And there's this pizza. I can only get it in Publix here. It was very popular in New York. They had 9 slices of pizza in the box, and they're these squares called Elio's Pizza. Have you ever seen it?
I've heard of it.
And every once in a while, I'll see it in public. It's terrible tasting pizza, but it's just something that reminds me of a kid, and I'll eat the whole box.
That was like the pizza that they served at our school. Like it was
Yeah,
this
it was those-
long
yes.
triangle,
Yep.
greasy, but it tasted like nothing, and yet you couldn't stop eating it.
Yeah, and I remember in my school, it was pizza day, and sometimes they would run out of mozzarella and put cheddar cheese on the pizza. It was terrible.
That's one of my favorite toppings on pizza now.
What?
Just get a cheese pizza and have them add cheddar.
Oh, that's gross.
You gotta try it. Have you ever had feta on your pizza?
I'm a pizza traditionalist. It's got to be mozzarella. I'll put ricotta cheese on it.
Listen to him throwing around those Italian accents.
Gabagool.
Yeah.
Gabagool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll eat like that.
So you don't do any of this like chicken bacon ranch?
No. There's a guy I saw on Facebook who runs a pizzeria down in, I don't know if it's, I don't remember where it is, but it's south of Atlanta. I follow his page because one of the neighbors' sons owns it. They're doing a Thanksgiving pizza. They're deep frying turkey and putting cranberry sauce and all this other crap on the pizza. I'm like, that's not pizza.
No, see, that's one thing. I do not mix the sweet and the salty. So I don't want
I don't like that
pineapple
either.
on my pizza,
No.
and I don't want cranberry sauce on my pizza.
I'm the same way. Like, I'll eat apples, but I don't want them in my regular food. It's a dessert.
Right.
Like,
And
I'm the same way. I don't want certain things.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll eat with a meal is like cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving. I will eat that kind of sweet. Well,
I don't like
cranberries aren't
cranberry
that.
sauce, yeah.
You don't like cranberry sauce? I've always liked.
I have
cranberry
too many
sauce.
like flashbacks of your mom like dumping out that can onto
Oh
a
yeah,
plate and then serving
you just
it.
get a knife. And
Yeah,
you
and
cut
it's
it
still
up.
got the can marks in it. Yeah, I can't eat that stuff.
Well, folks, that's going to wrap up our guilty pleasures. I hope you enjoyed them. We want to hear your guilty pleasures, so we'll be putting up a post.
We do not want to hear about you putting peanut butter on your genitals.
Yeah,
so
we don't
keep
want
to
that.
yourself.
Yeah, so if you do, if that's a guilty pleasure, if you get the jar of Jif out, after 10 when everybody's in bed, keep that to yourself. We really don't want to know. It's animal cruelty, and we don't go for that here on A Bunch of Malarkey. We're full of malarkey, but not that kind of peanut butter nutty spread malarkey. So
keep your nuts to yourself.
be sure to vote for our mutants of the week, the peanut butter spreader and the cookie klepto, the woman who stole her kids' Girl Scout cookies. Just another quick reminder. Come on, folks. The holidays are approaching. Next week, believe it or not, a week from this Thursday is Thanksgiving.
Shocking.
So the day after that is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, a whole lot of shenanigans. I lowered the price on eBay. There are limited quantities. Head over, $9.99. Don't be a cheap fuck. If you know me, if you listen to my podcast, pick up the book. It's not going to kill you. You'll be happy. It'll make your Christmas brighter. And if you don't want to buy it for somebody else, treat yourself. Grab a Tito's vodka, dip a corn dog in it, sit by the tree, and read my book. You'll really like it. A whole lot of shenanigans available through Amazon and through eBay. So pick it up for the holidays. Jen, wonderful job once again. Thank you for coming all the way out here on this crappy stretch of weather, isn't it? The last couple of days.
It is, but I'm growing up in the South. Like, I don't mind the cold at all. I'm excited it's getting colder.
Yeah, I like the cold, but this rain. We got, like they're saying, a couple more inches of rain before Friday. So.
And again, my husband, who grew up in Pennsylvania, would strangle me, but I don't mind cold rain because I hope it turns into snow.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind some snow. We had it right before Christmas last year. It was really nice.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get a little bit again. As long as we don't have to go anywhere, right?
Well, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Roads shut down at 1/4 of a millimeter.
Yeah, folks, you just get a dusting here. And that's it for the roads here in Atlanta. So that's going to wrap it up. We thank you for joining us again. Once again, find us on iTunes, Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and YouTube. And, folks, as I always say, and it can't be any truer than right now because we just heard a story about a man getting his genitals ripped off after spreading them with peanut butter. Beware. It's a shit show out there. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been A Bunch of Malarkey. Take care, everyone.